G'day everyone, it's been a while. Just thought we'd take a quick little video and show you what we're up to. Emma's done a lot of weed eating through here. And I've been doing like about 25 wheelbarrows full of clay and rock and just general crap out from under the house. Emma's put a composting bin down, so we'll see if we can run that. We've installed a washing line up the top there. I'll show you that in a minute. But for now, today, we've got this grill here to concrete. And we've set this up so that we can concrete this in. So shit ton of earth has come out. We've got some rock, got some foundations, sort of concrete there, but we want to make this all to the same level of our wall there. So I'm going to be moving my earth stake over just a little bit and setting it in, but this is also dug out, so that'll be our little storage area, and this is what we're up to. But yeah, no, we've been doing a few things, I suppose. All this is going to be weed eated again just because it's summertime. We've got a giant plank of wood that we've been straightening out just by weighing it down, and the idea is that's going to come out here. This is the bathroom door. Emma's filled that with plaster and finished that off and done a couple of layers of paint, so that'll be going back in the around the bathroom, but I don't know what, but that's alright. So we've taken out a couple of those posts that were here. That bit of wood should be going and sitting pretty much like a little bench, little bar. And this area here, Emma's got plans to become a herb garden. So yeah, we haven't stopped, but certainly had slowed down a little bit. So just thought we'll give you a wee update and show you what we're doing. The reason I'm concreting all that in over there is so I can get all my tools and store them properly, effectively, and we can rip all the ceiling down. Because as soon as we can rip the ceiling down, then at the moment we're eligible for insulation. So that's all to the good. One other last thing we've got is the amount of water that's sitting in here. It's because the clay, well, the dirt in here is mostly clay, like 90% clay. Which it turns out is horrible for putting concrete on, because as the clay will go cold and then go warm again, it expands and contracts and moves as all things do, and the concrete often doesn't keep up with it, so you don't pour concrete directly over clay. So what I've got to do is get about 100 millimeters depth or so for my base course, which will be just a gravel that I'll clear out as much of this muck as I can, but there's only so much I'm going to be able to do, and add gravel and then compact that to stabilize it all. Then we've got a bit of a problem over here, whereas to line up with the concrete wall over that side, I need over this side to be about down here where my finger is, which leaves most of this going to be sitting up and above over that side. So either I have a gentle gradient over the whole floor, or I just dig down quite a bit further, and I think I've got quite a bit further to go. But it's a bit of a shame because there's some overpour on the concrete here. I'm aware this is like a foundational wall. This is not generally something you want to go anywhere near. But yeah, the plan is to get down to a point where I can then drill into this foundation wall over here, and maybe the one I'm standing on, that one if there is any concrete at that height for sure. So I can tie my pad in, my slab in, so when I concrete it all, it's not going to move. If any of the foundations do, it'll stay with it, sort of thing. So that's the idea there. And sort of starting to get my head around this, but yeah, definitely glad that I got the polythene over there, because you definitely want to have a damp proof barrier between the water that's going to be sitting under here, coming and going through the very tiny holes in the clay. Those tiny holes make this water drain super slowly, if at all. If it's not, waterlogged. Yeah, gotta try and keep my concrete separate from that. So we'll get some builder's mix, some gravel, some sand, sort of stuff. Compact that in, and then polythene, and then concrete with the rebar over top. So I think I might have been a bit hasty in buying my grid, but that's alright. So I'm using the hammer drill, getting this really hard compacted clay and having to sort of chip that out like a real flaky sort of a rock there, but that's alright. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, new plan. We have a sump there, and at the moment so much water is running through the house, and I've chased it all down. It pulls right under this door, goes through into this little ditch, and then out into this little paddock area, I guess. So we'll go up a little bit of elevation and come to this sump. Now that sump has a pipe in it that goes to the street right there under the trailer tow bar. So if I can just drain stuff into there, then we should actually be okay in terms of drainage. So I've been reluctant to do this plan because about half of that side of the hill will still drain just beyond that concrete wall, and then go down and hit some more concrete walls into a place that we can't really access, and then eventually work its way down into the corner down under there, which is where that little woodshed thing is. But instead, so I'm going to take this little swimming pool and drill through there and drain it into the spot, and then I've tried to make all of this sort of slope down to the far corner where it's pooling now. And I'll have to get a little pipe type thing for my earth stake there, because the earth stake will stay there, but I want one with the lid, so I'll get a proper one probably tomorrow. But so I had Mum come and help me today, and she dug this wee trench for us, which is really good. So if I drill down as deep as that little hole is on the other side into here, and I come through this wall underneath this piece of foundation, all the water that floods from that point to here, and you can even see it's sort of trickling now, that will come through into the drain that we will set with gravel and the perforated pipe and the sock and everything into this little ditch. Will come to this corner, so that flows to here, that flows into this corner. Also, the absolute torrent that comes through here is going to hit this spot. We'll go and dig this out as well, go down into this, to this corner. On this corner, for now, we're going to connect our perforated pipe sort of on the surface to just a regular piece of duct or plumber's pipe or whatever I can find that like fits well. We'll find out what that is later on. And I'll just run that solid pipe along the corner behind all this shit. So I'll move all this shit out the way to the hole that's existing under there. Right beside this, there's a hole that already drains into that. When this garage gets overflowed, it all drains down to that corner anyway and into there. So that is currently my best plan. But it won't take out all of the water, because so not only are we do we have a slope going up that way and it's draining in down there, that's the hole on the outside of the house, so it's about 1.5 meters underground, which is why we are below the water table here and why it's such an issue for us. But you can also see where this rusty sort of space is, that when it does rain, this hillside here also flows and pulls into wherever this is running under here
to under the stairs to that little piece of concrete wall. On the other side of that, it drops down into like another little cavern that it's made for itself along that edge, and then to that bottom corner of that woodshed. So all the rest of that, that's just going to stay as it is for now. Because I'd honestly, this is all dirt and clay, and I never even really thought about what we'd do with it. I just knew it was something of one day to deal with. So I figure if we can temporarily, at least for the next 5 years or so, put this drain in here, when we do eventually dig this out, redo the staircase to have better access down here, we'll turn this into an ordinary, regular concrete pad. Maybe this would be like a bay to store the trailer in, and then we have the car out in this area, which would be really, really, really handy. But it'll take getting that sealed off and that inaccessible before we sort of remodel how all this works. And when it comes to that, and we put that concrete pad in properly, this one, then the surface pipe that's running along the corner will be able to cut into this slab and run that pipe underground and make it all nice and proper, and hidden and functional, and that's all we can really ask for here, is like hidden and functional. But yeah, the water table is still pretty damn, like, that's it, right? That hasn't drained away anywhere, so that's about as high as this area here will fill up to if we don't have any drainage. Now, digging in that corner, I've been finding a lot of bristles, a lot of plant material. I think it might be, see, it's running through there, that's nice. So yeah, so this is just natural water egress, and it's all going to flow down that way anyway. It turns out the street behind me is named Spring Street, and this is why, because it's kind of like a spring. But as my dad said, and it made a lot of sense to me, you're not going to be able to drain the whole hill, but you are going to be able to contain and seal this area with that concrete. But yeah, I don't want it to be sitting and getting stagnant underneath here if I can, because that seems like a bad thing. Even with the damp-proof membrane down and the rebar that we're going to be drilling into these foundational walls and setting and tying in properly, like, even though we're going to be doing all that, we don't want that to be stagnant. So first this, then we'll dig this channel out here, put that perforated pipe and more gravel in this channel, because even once this is all capped and sealed and this is all draining away, there's still going to be moisture under here. It's always just going to be that way. It's open out that way, and it's open out that way. And obviously this is more hill here, so yeah, there's always going to be issues with that, and that's not something we can change, but what we can affect is how it works, I guess. So this spot here is like a mudstone. This is like a rock, so that's good. So some of our foundation at this point anyway is under rock, but like that shit under there, you can see just how deep that concrete goes. It's not very deep really. So that's why I'm quite happy to be putting in some more reinforcing metal in here so that the slab all sticks, and will, because this piece of the foundation goes, so I don't want to stand here because it'll sink about 600 mils into the clay. So because I'm going to be doing my concrete pad to the level of that wall there, this one, I don't know if I dig under and then try and drill up and then tie my rebar into that and then corner it and come out. I think we're still too low for that. So I'm actually just not going to worry. I'm going to accept the fact that the concrete is going to crack there and there's nothing I can do about it. But what I can do is sort of scallop out a bit of an edge there and create a little bit of a footing, and sort of not patch it up, but fill in the gap where whoever did that initially just didn't go deep enough. But yeah, you can see this black stuff here. That's all plant material. This is what happens for it to make coal eventually, I think. But God knows how long ago that tree died. It was definitely dead when this place was built. But whether it was from before that or not, I don't know. So I'll get this big 12mm drill under through here, just waiting for the battery to charge. So that can drain to here, and out we go. As long as you have some gradient, doesn't really matter how steep it is. So that's the idea here, is that as long as there's some gradient, it's going to be pretty damn shallow, really, to get to this surface, but we should be able to make it work for now. So that's the progress that we've sort of found ourselves at. I know it's a long video. I've probably explained things several times already for you, but this has been an absolute mission of a job. One that's got to be done. Because basically, until I get my tools and stuff out of that room and into here, they won't put the insulation in. And then if they don't put the insulation in, they can't give us a free upgrade for heating. And I'd really love all that to happen before winter if I can swing it. That would be really nice to not rely on heaters and have a cold winter. So that's cool. Yeah. Also, maybe the next video, but I should have a pretty big announcement. Another one coming up, but it'll mean a whole lot more of this sort of work. But we'll see how we go.